DBS plays. Hey there, folks. Welcome back to DBS Plays. Danny DBS Plays. Today we're going to be finishing up Sonic Advance with Amy Rose. Pretty much the hard mode of this game because her moves are a lot different. Mostly different from the other players. From the other characters. Anyway, let's get going. Which I am not... There are people who are a fan of using Amy in the game. Because she's different, because she... You know, you have to be more strategic in how you do things. And it's like, yeah, true, but doesn't always mean it makes it better. But anyway, regardless, we're playing as Amy. I do like how you go way farther if you use her hammer on the springs. Because for some reason they made it to where she can't, like, go into the ball form. I mean, after this game, they were like, yeah, let's just have her go into the ball form. And she's also the only other character other than Sonic that can use the rails, which I believe I just skipped, but yeah, whatever. You get the idea. I needed that. Oh well, because Amy is going to be a lot harder to use. Like, again, it doesn't make it more fun that way. It just makes it harder. I keep downgrading. I do like how you can do that though. Yeah. Okay. I think that's one thing, is that this game tried a little harder at being like the classic games while adding some new stuff to it. Because, like, you know, in the other games, in the future one, like, because, you know, that was a reference to the, you know, original thing. You know. You know. But in the advanced games after this, they went to their own tunes. And they did things a little differently. But this one was a little more of a throwback to the originals than you know, 2 and 3 were. Well, 3 did also have Sunset Hill, which is, you know, Green Hill. But which is Green Hill at sunset. Because it even had, like, the same tune, and, you know. That was back before Green Hill was starting to be overused and everything. I mean, yeah, you had these that were, like, not Green Hill. That's how you could describe them. But, you know. You know what? I'll do one better. Wait. Hold on. Somewhere around here. There it is. Okay. Okay, screw it. But yeah. By the way, in case you're wondering, like, you could be if you're watching this around the time that I'm putting this video out, or, you know, whenever I put it out. So far, I've actually been able to put out these videos the day I record them, the days that I record them. It could change for this one. It could very well change. But yeah, so, it could very well change, but basically, I put out these videos. I've been putting out the videos that the day I record them, basically. So we'll see about this one. Let's see. And of course, because she can't speed up as, I mean, unless there's something I'm missing here. Yeah, because she only jumps like that. She plays differently. And, like, I can appreciate that they were trying something different with the character, so it's like, it's not literally just playing the same, essentially the same game over and over and over. But it just wasn't as good. And I think most people realize that. Because, like, the people who like her mode, saying, like, oh, she's different, those are few and far between. So, yeah. A lot of people wanted, like, whenever she was she's unlockable in Sonic Advance 2, which is stupid how you have to unlock her. Which, by the way, unless I can find cheats before if I do Sonic Advance 2, on here, which will most likely be with the, with the emulator. If that happens, I'm most likely going to, either if I can't use cheats, I'm probably just not even gonna play as Amy in that one, because she is improved in that one. She's greatly improved in that one over this one, because she was built more like the other characters, where she can go into ball form and stuff. But if you know how that game is, you know why I don't want to bother with like trying to play as every character in that game. Because Sonic Advance 2, it was... I mean, I should probably talk about it more. Maybe I'll just repeat myself whenever I play, if I ever get to that game. Basically, alright, so in this game, whenever you get the emeralds, it carries over with every single character. Like, every character... if you get it as one character, it'll be counted as getting it as the other characters. And, like, basically it's just one set of Chaos Emeralds. Sonic Advance 2 decided that to have it to where you have to get the emeralds as every single character. No joke. You have to get the to unlock everything in the game, you have to get the emeralds as every single character. Not only that, I don't know about the Supersonic situation. You may just have to get every emerald as Sonic to get Supersonic in that game, but not only that, the way you have to get to the emerald challenges is stupid. Like, it is absolutely dumb. Because in Sonic Advance 2, like, you have to go through and get all these, I think there's seven or more, or something around that, special rings. And if you don't get them, like if you pass one up, there's certain areas where if you pass them up, you can't go back to get them unless you restart the level. And doing that, and like considering you're supposed to go fast, but also blah blah blah, you're supposed to explore and get them, and then that's how you get to the special stage, is when you get to the end of the stage. It is so dumb, which I've done it once thanks to save states, because I was not going to bother trying to get them normally. But because of all that, you finally get to the special stage, and it's a fun one. It's a fun enough one. It's not too difficult or anything, but it's definitely it's like a semi take on Sonic CD's special stages, but they're different. Like you're supposed to defeat Zero the robot from Sonic Adventure, or you're supposed to watch out for him as you get rings, as you get enough rings. But yeah, it's stupid how you have to get there. So like literally, here's the thing: if they ever if they ever like remaster or whatever these games, I really hope that they either have a rewind, a save state and rewind thing, or more importantly, they could just fix the whole emerald thing. Make it to where if you get one as one character, then you're pretty much good with the other characters. Like you have them all. If you have them all as one character, you have them all as all characters, basically. And like you have to unlock Amy I can't remember if it's by getting all the emeralds with one character or all characters or something like that. But yeah, if it's the case where you have to get all the emeralds as all characters, no, I'm not even gonna bother. The only reason, if you've seen an old playthrough on my gaming channel back when it was Untitled Team Gaming, if you saw where I was able to play as Amy before and was able to do the Supersonic stages, that's because I use cheats. I use Action Replay on the Game Boy Advance, and that's because I was never gonna bother with getting all the emeralds. And that is a huge waste of time. I don't know what Sega was thinking. It's just an artificial way to extend the playtime. Is basically what that is. Which I feel like the game already has enough in it. It didn't need to extend it like that. It already has like a multiplayer mode for those who, friends who wanted to play it. I don't know how many people actually played the multiplayer, but I mean, the single player was fine enough. You had some problems with bottomless pits, but it was fine enough. It was also the first Sonic Advance game, first of 2 Sonic Advance games where you had to unlock the characters. In Sonic Advance 2, you had to rescue them. Let's see. Yeah, in Sonic Advance 2, you had to rescue the characters. That was the story. Because Eggman captured them. Well, he captured. Of course, years later, I found out he captured Cream and which was introduced in Sonic Advance 2. He captured Cream and Tails, but Knuckles was actually, once again tricked by Eggman into thinking Sonic was the was the bad guy in this situation. So he used one of Eggman's mechs or whatever to fight Sonic, which for a while I thought it was Knuckles was trapped in the place where Eggman would normally be at. Let's see if I can get into higher routes. Yeah, like Eggman tricked Knuckles basically, and it wasn't a case of he also captured Knuckles and just happened to place him in one of the robots and all that stuff. But no, yeah. But anyway, in Sonic Advance 3, it's basically just it's basically like you run into them and then they decide to help you out, or something like that. It is something like that. There is some dialogue to them, so there's a slight story. I mean, there's a slight story to this game. It's very minimal. You probably have to look at the manual or something. But this game, I mean, it's basically Eggman. It went back to basics. Eggman doing bad things. Play as Sonic's friends to help him, to help defeat him. This is stupid right here. I'm just gonna go this way if I can. If I can't, then maybe this will help. Okay, go. Thank you. So let's get these rings down here. I always say though, except for like moments like that, the speed, like whenever you get speed boosts like that, they are never in like the best places in these games. They always seem to be in the most inconvenient places. Because just like, you need to go fast, but then like suddenly, like whenever you get one, you're in a place where if you go too fast, you'll run into things, and so I don't know. Ooh. Let me get that checkpoint, just in case. But anyway. So yeah. Amy, it is a little interesting that they decided to give her like a Karen haircut. As was what we know today as like a Karen type haircut. I mean, it does make her look a little different than Sonic. Because, like... I guess, I'm assuming that's what they were wanting to go for, was just, they wanted to make her look more than just female Sonic. Because that's kind of what she was in the original. I mean, she looked different enough from Sonic, but she's still like the way her spikes were, So I'm assuming when they redesigned her character to look like this, they wanted her to look, a little more like her own character. Thank goodness that registered. Wasn't sure if it was going to or not. By the way, if you're wondering about whenever I release these, which I think I was trying to get to earlier and I just got sidetracked, as I usually do. Amy got through Act 2! But if you're wondering, should show you how the rails work, but, you know. Oh yeah, I forgot she can do that. She has more moves in some ways. But anyway, if you're wondering, like, I am at this video's point in time, I am working on my next that one guy's show. The next episode, basically. And if you're wondering how old this is like before the Flat Out episode is coming. That's the one I'm working on at this point in time. To age this video some. But, yeah, like, if you're wondering, I'm playing these in between working on them. As I take a break from working on that video, I've been playing these. I kind of started this because, like, while I don't really care, like, while it doesn't matter to me anymore exactly, you know, whenever I make these videos now, because I've always felt like, oh, I gotta have at least 1 or 2 videos out in a month. And I had one, but I was just like, you know, I wanted to play, I want to play something, or I want to get another video out before the year's over. I mean, it's a leap year. It's a, you know, and then I thought, okay, on Leap Day, I'll record and release me playing Sonic Advance. So that's kind of how I, you know, came back to this. So I decided to bring back DBS Plays. Not that it really went away, I just didn't really play a lot of... I didn't do any playthroughs other than Mop GX with my brother. For a while. So, in this game, I am going to, so, you know, like, I decided, yeah, I'll just have DBS Play stay on, you know, this channel. It makes the most sense. I mean, unless people just beg me to put these videos on the gaming channel, then I'm just gonna keep them here. But again, it's just, I kind of got to, I'll just say this, I got to a point where I just didn't, you know, like YouTube, like making YouTube videos, not that a ton of people weren't like asking me to make these videos, I just kind of felt obligated for some reason. I told myself that, like, if you don't get a video out, you know, blah blah blah, and then eventually I just kind of got to a point where I was like, you know, I don't really care anymore. So I just decided to make videos whenever I feel like it. Make these videos whenever I feel like it. You know, I make the, like, usually me and Andrew will do the how do you say this? We'll do the Let's Plays on the weekends because I kind of have to go on his schedule. It's usually how it goes. I have to go on his schedule because he's off. In his position, he's more so off on the weekends. Whereas I'm off more of the time. But, you know. Let's see. It's like occasionally the sound will be in sync, and occasionally it won't. So it's kind of weird the way this emulator. I mean, it's an emulator. I just can't complain too much about free. So, but hopefully one day, Sega will. Wait, let's see here if I can. Nope. Okay, it's because our hammer wasn't out all the way. I can at least do this whenever I need to get air, and I can't, you know, get to it in time. I think if you're down here, yeah, you can hit them from down here, like, or you know, as you jump. So, in some ways, this boss is a lot easier as Amy. This is one instance where Amy is a lot, like, better with this fight, but well, not a lot better, somewhat better, because the other characters, you know, it's not that hard when you know what to do. But yeah, so, I want to try to say here. And now the sound is off sync again. No, I just realized it. Whee! Oh no. Okay. It's like it randomly goes out of sync, it randomly goes in sync. New album out, I don't know. I think NSYNC was still making albums, was still making music by, new music around this time. I don't know, I didn't really keep track of all that stuff. They were boy bands. And I mean, whenever, this game came out whenever I was, 8 years old. Well, here in North America at least. I was 7 when it was released in Japan, but I was, again. Yeah, pretty much, I've pretty much been a huge Sonic fan since I was 10 years old. Pretty much. I was a Sonic fan, a casual Sonic fan whenever I was 8. I mean, like, this basically made me a fan of Sonic. It kind of got me my foot in the door of like, hey, I'm actually really digging this. And then when it comes to, when it comes to Sonic, whenever I got Sonic Advance 2, that's when I became more of like a bigger fan. And then when, around when Sonic Advance 3, Sonic Battle, and all them were coming out, Sonic Heroes, that's when I was pretty much, hooked on Sonic. Hooked on Sonics. I think that's actually the name of an episode from Sonic Sat AM. But yeah. I've like, there were a lot of times, like, I would play other games other than Sonic, but I would mainly play Sonic. Bless you, Sylvester. No, he didn't sneeze, but he just kind of shook his head and his collar along with it. Anyway, I mean, I played other games while growing up with, playing Sonic, but I mainly played Sonic a lot. I played that so many times. And I mean, Shadow became my favorite character. And I've told this story so many times, but I can remember when my friend would talk about, like, he was talking about a new Shadow game, and I was like, where he uses guns, and I was just like, this just doesn't sound right. They wouldn't do something like that, as cool as that. Of course, at the time, I was like, as cool as that would be, which I still think it's a cool concept, but, as cool as that would be, I was thinking that I don't think that's true. I don't know if that's true or not. And I was trying to look it up online, and I didn't look it up, which I did actually have internet at the time, but in 2005. I was thinking like, wait. Let me see if I can do this. There we go. Yeah, she butt slides on that thing. Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, my friend was telling me about it because he had a magazine. I forgot what magazine it was, but they were talking about the new Shadow the Hedgehog game where he uses guns, and I was like, I don't believe that. And then he showed me the magazine, and lo and behold, there it was, Shadow the Hedgehog with guns. And I was like, wow, like Ratchet and Clank? That was one thing, though. Whenever I wasn't obsessed with Sonic, I was obsessed with, like, Ratchet and Clank and stuff. I was a huge fan of Ratchet and Clank, and I was a huge fan of, like, Sly Cooper. Now, at the time, though, me and my family didn't really get many of the Ratchet and Clank and Jak and Daxter and Sly Cooper games until a little later on. But we did have the first 2 Ratchet and Clank games for a while. I hate that. But yeah, so yeah, Shadow the Hedgehog, I was pretty excited. Once my friend showed me that, I was like, ah! You know, I was pretty excited for that, because Shadow became my favorite character, as he did with many people. And the fact that he was getting his own game where he would use weapons. And I was, you know, again, I was a Ratchet & Clank fan, and I was hoping for it to be like Ratchet & Clank, but it wasn't really. Other than, you know, you use weapons. But it was really fun. And I was so excited. I remember that was the... I mean, I've talked about this a few times, but I remember, like, looking at it, or, like, looking at everything online and just trying my best to, like, look at everything. I was going on the website. That was really cool. I was going everywhere just thinking, like, oh, man, Shadow the Hedgehog. I'm so excited. And, yeah. And I am one of the few... Well, few in terms of how many people there are on the internet. I'm one of the few people that defends the game. Which there are actually more and more people that defend the game. Like, there are those who just say it's bad. There are those who say it's worse than Sonic 06. They are objectively wrong. But there are those who say that it's just not a good game. It's just, you know, there are those who say they play it ironically. They can have a good time ironically. And then there are people that are like, it was fine. It was alright. You know, it was okay. Then there are people like me who say it was pretty fun. Not a great game, but it was a pretty good one. Not a bad idea. And the reason that they had Shadow use the guns instead of Sonic, you know, people were asking Sega to give Sonic a gun, which admittedly would be pretty unfitting for his character. Shoot. Wait, come on. Yeah, get up there. I can't. Well, anyway. Kids were asking... I mean, it wasn't adults. It was kids asking Sega to give Sonic a gun to use. Or to let him use guns. So that was a result of E102 Gamma. And, you know, the E102 Gamma thing was a result of, like, people liking that gameplay, so they brought it back for Tails and Eggman to use in Sonic Adventure 2. But yeah, Sonic Adventure 2, you know, had that, and then Sonic, like because of Shadow's popularity, they brought him back to Sonic Heroes, and then they thought, if we give him his own game, there's these kids that have been wanting us to give Sonic a gun, so why don't we give it to Shadow instead? It's more fitting. Which I think that is pretty fitting for his character. Because... I mean, Shadow's a dark character. You know, dark and edgy character. I mean, he's not the edgelord that people make him out to be. He just happens to, you know, be like that. You don't understand him, people. Anyway. Let's see. So may I get... Oh, of course, one ring. Yeah, those are... I hate those. I hate those question mark things because they tease you with, like, oh, you could get like 50 rings or 30 rings or whatever, up to 30 rings, or you could also get one ring. And it's really dumb. Anyway, I don't know if I was probably not on sync on that, but so yeah, Sonic characters that I think could work with their own games, like, you know, could work as their own thing. Well, I think Shadow could get another one of his games. They just need to do it better. You know, I can admit they need to do a better job at it. I just don't think that the game we got was bad or just okay or meh. I thought it was pretty fun, and it was a different take. Because it really wasn't a Sonic game. It was just, well, It was only kind of a Sonic game, but because it wasn't Sonic, I thought it was alright that they made it different. That they gave him guns to use. And people always freak out like, oh my gosh, that's just the worst idea they could possibly do. And I'm just like, no, that's a pretty awesome idea. Again, it's not Sonic. It would be unfitting for Sonic, but it's not... That wasn't Sonic, that was Shadow. It seemed pretty fitting for his character. I know he has all those powers, but you know, it seems like you gotta save some of those powers and some of this anime type stuff. It's just kind of a way of you know, making it to where, you know, they can't just be invincible the whole time. But, now, I think Tails could have his own game. Now, I have discussed before about, you know, in my video talking about can a T-rated Sonic game work. And for those of you who didn't see that video, I don't care about spoiling it, but, basically, I concluded that I think it could, depending on the character it stars. It would need to star a different character, and it might depend on the character. Like, if there was a game that starred Tails, you know, obviously after Tails' adventure in Sky Patrol. If there was a game that starred Tails, like in the future, I think at most an E10 rated game could work. Like, they could, not because he's a fox, but I think like a Star Fox type game could work for Tails. And I think they could get away with an E10 rating in terms of, you know, ESRB ratings. Wait. There we go. Okay. Anyway, I do think that that could work with an E10 rating, E or E10. Amy, you know, I mean, this is assuming they would even do this. Amy, I think it could work with like an E-rated game, E10 rated game, whatever. Big the Cat, you know, like a full-on fishing game with Big. You know, make that an E or E10 rated game. Although you would just be fishing pretty much, so it would just depend on what you'd want to put in it, or what they'd want to put in it. So I think, yeah, like, I think some of those characters couldn't work with a T-rated game. E or E10 would be more fitting for those characters. But when it comes to, like, Shadow, Knuckles, Rouge, Silver, Blaze, all of them, I think that they could, if they were to get their own games, I think that they could work with a T rating. You know, like with their stories and stuff. Now, obviously, the Sonic character that's gonna, you know, that would likely get another character spin-off game would most likely be Shadow. And the next would probably be Knuckles or Tails or something. I don't think Amy could really get away with having her own game. Because she's not really liked enough to justify that. While she was in some of the original games, I don't think she could really carry her own game. Same for like Cream, and you know, especially Cream. I mean, she hadn't been in a game since until Sonic Dream Team. And like, especially in a 3D Sonic game, she hadn't been in a 3D Sonic games as a playable character since, you know. Okay, she hasn't been in a Sonic game since until Dream Team came out. She hadn't been in one since Generations. I mean, outside of maybe cameos of like, you know, talking about, hey, it's, you know, remember Cream. But anyway, yeah. I don't think these characters, a lot of these characters could really carry their own games. Honestly, most of the female characters couldn't carry, and the reason I say that is because they're just not as popular as like the other characters. The closest, I think that the closest female Sonic character that like the fans and stuff would want, in terms of the fans, not the general public, you know, would probably be Blaze, because she's like the most she's one of the most interesting out of the female Sonic characters, and a well-liked one amongst the fans. And I'm not saying, like, in terms of general public, it would be Amy, but even still, I don't think that would really sell all that well. And I was watching a video talking about, like, trying to say, like, what the reason was behind Sega, or I mean Nintendo, being able to have character spin-offs, but Sega can't. Or Sega hasn't done a good job at it. He made some good points, but I wouldn't fully agree with him on stuff. I mean, he was also the one that said they decided to give Shadow guns as, like, a negative, and I was like, no. That's not a negative. Maybe they could have given him more science fiction-y type guns. Like, there are those in the game, but, like, there are also, like, realistic pistols and all that stuff. So, maybe they could... I mean, I think that the stories can be taken a little more seriously than what people had let on. But you do also have to understand that, like... They also do have to understand that we are talking about Looney Tunes-esque... cartoony animals, you know? But if the Ninja Turtles, which I know they're not exactly Looney Tunes-like, but if the Ninja Turtles can get away with having more serious stories and being taken more seriously, I absolutely believe Sonic can as well. But anyway, yeah, I think that, like, the characters that would be the most likely to get, that would be the closest thing to being able to get their own character spin-off games, probably Shadow and Knuckles, Tails, possibly Metal Sonic, maybe not. They could have a game where he's like a bigger focus, but like a playable character, but all, you know, a bigger focus. But you know, so, but I don't think that. I don't think that, like, Rouge or Amy or Cream or any of them could really get their own spin-off. Now, something where it's a character spin-off, but they're playable characters, I think that could work, but, you know. Which technically in Shadow the Hedgehog, almost all the characters, except for the flying characters, all the characters that go alongside Shadow, that, like, hang, you know, like if you're doing their mission, or helping them out with a mission or something, or basically doing the mission for them. Basically, ooh, forgot about this. But, basically, I think that, like, you know, some of these... There's a lot of Sonic characters that probably couldn't carry their own games. Technically, Knuckles, like, originally, Chaotix, in Japan, Knuckles is Chaotix. I'm just saying Knuckles Chaotix. Knuckles Chaotix was in Japan was just called Chaotix. And the reason they added Knuckles was to kind of help sell the game, because originally it was just going to star, I think there's something to that, like they were originally just going to star the Chaotix themselves, and then they added Knuckles to help sell it, or Knuckles was just going to be part of Chaotix and it was just called Chaotix. But to sell it here in North America, they called it Knuckles' Chaotix. And, well, I'm sure it did help sell it a little bit, but not enough to, like, save the 32X. Also, this boss is horrible to play, to fight against as Amy. As you can tell. Oh my gosh! Yeah, unless I died as Sonic and forgot. That was the first time I died since I've, you know... Because Amy sucks as a character in this game. Absolutely sucks as a character. But, yeah. So... I think that, yeah, like I said, the most likely to be able to carry their own game. Like, if you wanted a joke game, Like, I could... The closest thing I could see to a Big the Cat game would be, like, Big the Cat making a cameo in... Like, if Sega brought back, like, Sega Bass Fishing, or whatever they call it, you know, now, but, like, if they brought that back and then they had Big as a playable character, or, like, had, like, a big costume or something, I think that could work, but I don't know I don't think Big could actually carry his very own game. I could be wrong, but, you know, there we go. I know that the way I know that, like, he only has a couple of hit points left is when he speeds up the first time, and then the second time he speeds up both ways. After that, you know, that's when he has his last hit. Yeah, hopefully one day, a lot of the advanced fans will get their wish. Because here's the thing, is like they would be printing money if Sega would release these games. Like re-release Advance and some of these, like, give us, even if people, like, on Switch, I'm sure a lot of us were we're hoping for Sonic Adventures 1 and 2 on the, even if it was just the Dreamcast versions, Sonic Adventures 1 and 2 on, like, Switch, because it could very well run them. They just haven't been doing that. But then again, when the Switch came out, it was around the time when Sega was trying to get away from the good Sonic games and just focus on the classic ones. Listen, folks, I'm half joking because the classics are good games. It's just that they were, you know, focusing way too much on it. But I've already made my rant about that multiple times, and I'll probably do it again someday. Oh, and as you can imagine, this is stupid hard as Amy to do here without getting hit a lot. Well, I hope I don't get hit, because I don't have any rings left. Yeah, stupid. Yeah, this is a horrible fight as Amy. I mean, it's already kind of hard enough fight with all the characters, but as Amy, it's stupid. It's absolutely dumb. Well, you just need to time it right, or maybe they could have just made this better and not make Amy a bad character to use. I'm gonna have to pretty much rely on just doing that. If I want to hold on to this one ring I have. But yeah. I do wish we'd get more character spin-offs. I do wish we'd get more... Now, I get it at the time. They could rush through these and the game still turn out better, but, like, they learned with Sonic 06 they really can't rush them all that much anymore. But I'm kind of wishing someday that we'd get... Okay, we're good. I'm wishing someday we'd get some sort of game system or some kind of standard that says you don't have to be the biggest and the best and have to sell these big AAA games anymore. Go back to having AA, I guess, is what is between... I guess that's between... what do you call it? Between indie and AAA would be like AA. I don't know. AA batteries. And then Amy's like, pop star pose. This was the early 2000s. Oh my gosh! You know, it was just that time. Making those faces and, like, you know, But yes, that was Sonic Advance. All the characters. Not everything about Sonic Advance, but I showed you most of it through DBS Plays. Which it actually didn't. It actually didn't. What am I trying to say here? It actually didn't. It did cause me to lose my train of thought. No, me looking at my phone did that. Yeah, I don't know if you heard it, but you know, you hear. That's with the sound randomly going out of sync sometimes. It's just part of the emulation, I think. I guess. Let's see here. But yeah, my final thoughts. I really enjoy this game. It's not my favorite Sonic game, but I really enjoy it. I think it's a solid 2D Sonic game. Even if it has its problems. So, yeah, I made a tier list one time, but sometimes I forget where exactly I put them. Because my opinions can kind of flip-flop on some of these games. Maybe not completely flip-flop, but like wiggle a little bit, I guess. Some days I like it more than I do others, and some days, you know. But I think overall I still enjoy this game. But yeah, so that was Sonic Advance, folks. Yeah, very out of sync there. Don't. And there you go, presented by Sears. But anyway. So yeah, that was. Let's check on the Chow real quick, just because. Let's get him a Wubba Ducky. Just because. You want to ride on the Wubba Ducky? I don't even. It's kind of like this is more of the Tamagotchi pet than like the console games. Let's give you a fruit like this. And I will do that for you. But yeah, so that was Sonic Advance. And I hope you all enjoyed. And until the next game, whatever I decide to play next, whether it's Advance 2 or any other game, thank you for watching. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more like this or any of my other types of videos. And thank you for watching again, and hope you have a good day or night.